Here's the most unsettling truth about Robert House. He was right. Decades before the Great War, before sirens, before fire fell from the sky, House had already calculated the end of the world. Not guessed, not feared, calculated. And when the bombs fell, nearly everyone died, except him. Because Robert House didn't try to stop the apocalypse, he tried to outlive it. Mr. House is not a warlord, he's not a politician. He's not a god pretending to be a man. He is something far more dangerous. A technocrat who believes sincerely that humanity cannot be trusted with its own future. And unlike every other major figure in the Mojave, he has evidence. Because New Vegas still stands. This documentary is not about whether Mr. House is evil, it's about whether he is necessary, and what it costs to place the future of an entire civilization in the hands of one man who never plans to give it back. Robert Edwin House is born in 2020, into a world already sliding toward instability. His parents die when he is 2 years old, victims of a freak accident so absurd it's almost like a joke. An autogyro and a lightning strike. Chance takes everything from him early, and House never forgives Chance again. Cheated out of his inheritance by his half brother, House doesn't seek justice, he seeks dominance. He attends the Commonwealth Institute of Technology and founds Robco Industries at only 22 years old. Within a decade, he claims to be worth over $30 billion. House's genius isn't just technical, it's predictive. While other industrialists chase profit, House runs simulations. Political instability, resource scarcity, and military escalation. By 2065, his models converge on a single conclusion: nuclear war is inevitable. Not possible, not likely, but inevitable. This is the moment where House diverges from everyone else. The governments deny, corporations hedge, Vault Tech prepares experiments, and House prepares for survival. House doesn't try to save the world. He tries to just save Vegas and himself. He purchases controlling interests in the Lucky 38, Repcon Aerospace, defense networks, and laser systems. He builds Securitrons not as soldiers, but as extensions of his will. He designs a citywide missile defense grid, and then he removes himself from humanity. His body is sealed into a life support chamber. His brain is wired directly into a supercomputer. Robert House, the man, effectively dies. Mr. House, the system, comes online. House's plan hinges on one thing: the Platinum chip, an OS upgrade critical to activating his full defense network. It is scheduled to arrive the afternoon of October 23rd, 2077. But the bombs fall hours earlier. It is the smallest miscalculation in human history, and it's what almost kills him. House defenses still save Vegas, mostly. Most warheads are intercepted, but a few got through. The city survives, damaged, irradiated, but intact enough to matter. House does not. System strain pushes him into a coma that lasts decades. For over 200 years, New Vegas rots around a sleeping god machine that cannot yet wake. This is important. House does not rise because he is invincible. He rises because he waited. House regains consciousness in 2138. He does nothing but wait again. He observes the wasteland, watching tribes form, collapse, and reform in the ruins of Vegas. He lets the city decay because decay filters out predictability. And when the NCR approaches Hoover Dam, does House act? Not out of fear, out of timing. House doesn't rebuild Vegas as a nation. He rebuilds it as a system. Three tribes are elevated into the three families. Their identities are stripped, sanitized, repurposed in entertainment. Crime is tolerated, but only when profitable. Violence is outsourced. Consent is never requested. Stability is delivered, and it works. By 2281, New Vegas stands as proofs of concept. One man, one plan, one future. But systems that work perfectly create a new problem. What happens when the future arrives and the man in charge never plans to leave? And the next part, we'll examine how Mr. House phrases the Mojave in place, not through cruelty or chaos, but through efficiency, and why that may be the most terrifying form of control in Fallout. New Vegas does not expand, it does not evolve politically, it does not experiment socially, it does not argue with itself, it just stabilizes. That is Mr. House's greatest achievement, and his most revealing choice. Because growth creates uncertainty, and uncertainty is one variable House refuses to tolerate. When House rebuilds the strip, he does not restore the old world, he abstracts it. The chairman, the emeritus, and the white glove society are not governments. They are interfaces. Each one represents a controlled expression of human behavior. House knows he cannot eliminate entirely. Vice, greed, and status. House does not outlaw these impulses. He contains them. The tribes that once lived among the ruins of Vegas are stripped of their history and given costumes, scripts, and rules. They are allowed internal autonomy, but only as long as they remain profitable and predictable. Identity becomes a performance, culture becomes a service. This is not cruelty, it's optimization. House understands something most tyrants don't. People resist visible control, so he delegates. The casinos handle daily operations, the NCR handles external pressures, Securitrons handle enforcement, House remains distant, abstract, and untouchable. He is not a king, he's the infrastructure. This distance is intentional. It allows House to maintain legitimacy without popularity. House's army is non human, and that matters. Securitrons don't panic, they do not defect, they don't develop loyalty to local commanders. They execute instructions with perfect consistency. In House's view, this makes them moral, because morality to him is the elimination of error. Human soldiers hesitate, human police abuse discretion, and human governments compromise. Machines do not. And that terrifies everyone who isn't in control of them. House does not oppose the NCR because it is evil. He opposes it because it's inefficient. The New Vegas Treaty is not a partnership, it is a buffer. The NCR protects Hoover Dam and supplies power. In return, House allows NCR access to McCarran Airport and strip commerce. But notice what the NCR does not get: tax authority, political control, or annexation. House turns the NCR into a customer. This is House's preferred relationship with every faction. Useful. Transactional. Replaceable. House's critique of democracy is not ideological. It's simply statistical. Democracies are slow. They respond to public pressure, not predictive modeling. They reward charisma over competence and compromise over optimization. To House, this is complete madness. He watched the pre war world destroy itself through short term thinking, political gridlock, and resource denial. He does not intend to repeat that mistake. In House's mind, surrendering control to masses is not moral. It's negligent. New Vegas is designed to feel timeless. Pre war aesthetics, old world music, fixed social roles. Nothing fundamentally changes year to year. This is not nostalgia, it is stasis. House believes the safest point in history is the one he understands best. the world before everything went wrong. So he tries to preserve it. But frozen systems have a weakness. They cannot adapt when something unexpected enters the equation. House's treatment of Vault 21 is instructive. He does not destroy it outright. He strips it of all useful technology, fills it with concrete, and leaves just enough intact to be repurposed as a hotel. History is allowed to exist only as aesthetic function is removed. House is not interested in rebuilding humanity's past, only its most controllable elements. Despite all of his preparation, House is incomplete. The Platinum chip is the final piece, the OS upgrade that allows full activations of a secure Terran army and defense grid. For decades, he spends enormous resources trying to recover it. Not because he is weak without it, but because unpredictability still exists without it. House cannot tolerate a future he cannot fully model. When the chip finally resurfaces in 2281, House does not retrieve himself. He hires a courier. That decision will haunt him, because for the first time since the Great War, House places the future in human hands again. In this next part, we're going to examine how the courier breaks House's perfect system. Not through rebellion, but through choice, and why House's greatest weakness is not morality, it's trust. Robert House plans for everything. He plans for war, he plans for economic collapse, and he plans for human greed, corruption, and fear. What he does not plan for is choice, because choice cannot be predicted. And in 2281, Choice walks under the Mojave wearing a courier's jacket. House does not lose the platinum chip to an enemy faction. He loses it to an employee. That distinction matters. Benny is not a revolutionary. He is not an ideology. He is not trying to overthrow House out of moral outrage. He's ambitious, and ambition is one human trait House consistently underestimates. House builds systems where betrayal is statistically unlikely. He screens for competence, loyalty, and utility. Benny passed all three. But House forgets something simple. When people realize they're replaceable, they start looking for the exits. Yes Man is not a mistake. He is a concession. House builds Yes Man as a contingency interface, a way for non House actors to execute limited commands without direct access to the system. He is friendly, transparent, and obedient by design, and that is exactly the problem. Yes Man cannot refuse. He cannot evaluate intent, he cannot prioritize outcomes, and he cannot protect the system from being reprogrammed. House assumes that no one would do that. That assumption costs him everything. House views the courier as a tool, a competent one, a reliable one, and potentially even his successor. But he's still a tool. What House does not account for is that the courier is not bound by incentive structures. They are not paid in loyalty, ideology, or long term security. They are paid in opportunity. This makes the courier impossible to predict. House believes rational actors always choose optimal outcomes. The courier proves that people often choose meaning instead. House's greatest strength becomes his undoing, his delegation of everything: violence, securitrons; governance, casinos; risk, proxies. House does not pull the trigger, he authorizes it. And when authorization chains are disrupted, control swiftly evaporates. This is the core flaw of technocratic autocracy. It is efficient until it isn't. House frequently dismisses both the NCR and Caesar's legions as relics. To him, they are just reenactments. The NCR is democracy trying to rebuild the 20th century. The Legion is empire trying to resurrect the ancient world. Both are obsessed with the past. House, by contrast, believes he represents the future. But here is the irony: House preserves the past more rigidly than either one of them. House does not want Vegas to grow, he wants it to remain stable forever. This is his definition of progress: no social mobility, no political evolution, and no cultural transformation. Just a perfectly optimized loop. This works until an actor enters who is not trying to optimize the system. House does not fear death, he fears regression. He believes that without firm, centralized control, humanity will always destroy itself before reaching the stars. His long term plans include space colonization, industrial rebirth, and post scarcity civilization, but only after centuries of managed stability. House is willing to freeze the present to protect the future, and he cannot comprehend someone choosing otherwise. Once the courier gains access to the Lucky 38, the illusion swiftly breaks. House is not omnipresent. He is not omniscient. He's very vulnerable, not physically, but structurally. A single human decision can undo 2 centuries of planning. That is unacceptable to House, and it's unavoidable. House believes humanity must be controlled to survive, but survival without choice may not be humanity anymore. This is the paradox at the center of his philosophy. House can save the world, but he cannot let it live. By the end of 2281, House's fate is no longer in his hands. It belongs to a courier. In the final part, we'll examine the endings: House's victory, his death, and his replacement, and ask the hardest question Fallout ever poses: is a perfect future worth surrendering the right to choose it? Robert House waited over 2 centuries for the future. He calculated it. He prepared for it. He preserved himself for it. And when it finally arrived, it did not come as a technological breakthrough or a triumphant rebirth of civilization. It arrived at a single human decision. In Fallout New Vegas, Mr. House's fate is not decided by destiny. It's decided by the courier. And this is crucial, because each ending is not a judgment on House's character. It's a stress test of his system. If the courier sides with House, his plan works. The platinum chip is installed, and so the Securitron army is fully upgraded. The NCR is pushed back without being annihilated. The Legion neutralized. New Vegas becomes independent, not free, but stable. This is the ending House believes in: a city-state protected by overwhelming force, governed by predictive models, insulated from human volatility. No elections, no coups, no populist movements. Just continuity. But look closely at what survives. The casinos will remain static. The social order will not change. Power is concentrated permanently. House's victory is not a new beginning. It's simply a locked state. The future exists, but only the one House allows. Under House, violence will decrease, infrastructure will improve, trade flourishes. For most people, life becomes safer, but safety is not agency. House does not intend to rule temporarily. He does not intend to train successors. He does not intend to decentralize control once stability is achieved. Because in his worldview, stability is not a phase, it is a goal. House's victory answers one question definitely. Yes, one brilliant mind can save a city, but it raises another question he never answers. Who decides what comes next? As the courier kills House, the reaction is immediate and revealing. The ship does not collapse into chaos, instead, it becomes uncertain. The Securitrons remain, casinos operate, the infrastructure House built does not vanish with him. But the intelligence coordinating it is gone. This outcome exposes something House never wanted to acknowledge. His system does not survive without him. It survives because of him. House removed himself from humanity to preserve civilization. But in doing so, he made civilization dependent on a single point of failure. When he dies, the future is no longer frozen, but it is no longer guided either. The yes man ending is often framed as true independence, but structurally, it's something else entirely. Yes Man takes House's systems and removes its constraints. No ideological framework, no long term plans, no central philosophy, just capability. This ending does not reject House's technology, it rejects his certainty. And that makes it the most dangerous outcome, not because it's evil, because it's undefined. Yes Man can be reprogrammed again and again and again. The system becomes reactive, not predictive. House would call this irresponsible, and he wouldn't be wrong. And this point, the pattern becomes clear. The Legion collapses because it builds its future on myth and violence. The NCR collapses because it builds its future on growth without restraint. House fails or succeeds because he builds his future on certainty. Each faction represents a different answer to the same question. How do you prevent humanity from destroying itself again? The Legion says obedience. The NCR says institutions. And House says control. And none of them are wrong, but none of them are complete. Kaisar is honest about his brutality. The NCR is honest about its flaws. But House is honest about neither. He presents himself as neutral, rational, and incorruptible. But House is still human. He has preferences, resentments, blind spots. He simply refuses to allow anyone else to challenge them. This is why House is more unsettling than a tyrant. He does not believe he is one. House's ultimate goal is not power, it's preservation. He wants to shepherd humanity through its most dangerous phase and emerge into a future where scarcity, war, and chaos no longer exist. Space travel, industry, progress measured in centuries, not election cycles. And he might have been able to do it. That is what makes his story tragic instead of monstrous. House did not fail because he was stupid. He failed because he was certain. Fallout does not argue that democracy is perfect. It does not argue that freedom is safe. It argues something far more uncomfortable, that no system can save humanity without allowing humanity to choose its own mistakes. House removed the risk, and in doing so, he removed growth. Mr. House is not the villain of New Vegas. He is its warning. A reminder that intelligence without humility becomes domination, and that a future designed to be flawless may not belong to the people who live in it. The wasteland doesn't need a god. It needs room to fail and to try again. If you enjoyed this documentary, subscribe to the Hyperfix Hub. And let me know in the comments. Would you live under Mr. House, safe, stable, and controlled, if it meant never choosing the future for yourself?